Right, hello everybody, back for episode 3. Um, Thank you very much if you watched the first 2 episodes. Thank you for returning, even more so if you've liked them enough to come back and watch another one. Playing hard mode on SnowRunner, so where you pay for fuel, pay for repairs, pay to be recovered. It's a challenge mode basically that's a bit more intense, bit slower progress, but progression is part of the game in hard mode, whereas there isn't a lot of progression. Pretty much everything gets unlocked for my taste too early on the base game, on the campaign mode. Got all of the DLCs installed, but we're still in Michigan episode 3, very early game, because progress is slow and I'm talking more than driving. So, on that note, we've just started, logged back in where we logged off last time. I haven't refueled yet. I'll probably pull fuel out of that trailer before I move from here, but I'm going to jump over to the Chevy pickup truck and we're going to go up into the mountains a little bit because somebody very generously is going to pay us $1,000, yeah, $1,050 to go and visit a spot in the mountains. Very nice of them. And then looking at levels, because we don't get a lot of XP for that one. But looking at levels, we need 330 to level up to level 3, which might unlock some things. It's quite early game still, but we'll see. So, without further ado, let's go. So this truck is the starter truck, and I'm pretty sure the only upgrade I've done is I have put some off-road tires on it. It hasn't got any other upgrades yet. So no diff lock. And the main upgrade that I want, when I've got enough money for it to safely buy it, is the autonomous winch, so that if I did roll it over in the wilderness, I can hopefully, if there's a tree nearby, I can pull it back onto its wheels without having to pay to recover it or pay for the fuel to drive one of my own vehicles in to recover it. And also because recovering a vehicle takes time, and that means if you're spending your time recovering vehicles, you're not making progress on the missions that pay money and pay the bills. So to try and keep earning, you're better off with a vehicle that can self-race itself. I'm trying to remember to drop in and out of four-wheel drive appropriately when I'm off-road, only using four-wheel drive when I'm actually in a scenario that needs it, because most of this type of terrain doesn't need it. We've been here once before for the watchtower, and I didn't realise that there was a task nearby that gets you to come to more or less the same area as the watchtower. So we're driving in again and now pushing on this a little bit further. There we go, all-wheel drive. So I've never driven a Chevy in real life. It's a bit of an exotic hobby for some people who I know, and I have known in the past, friends and colleagues that have imported American cars to the UK. But that's a bit of a specialist project that I've not got involved with. But I have driven pickup trucks of this type, but the Japanese, so Toyota, Mitsubishi, etc. This I was going the wrong way. I was trying to drive through the rocks there because I was mistaken by which way the road goes. And then I'm not concentrating because I'm talking. Let's get back, line this up again and do that properly. So I've driven, the irony of saying that, I've driven this type of truck in the real world with a certain amount of off-road. I've done a bit of off-roading in Land Rovers more than anything else, and agricultural vehicles. In an early stage of my working life, I worked in the construction industry and used to drive a JCB 3CX digger, so the type of digger that's got a bucket on the front and a digger on the back. Yeah, that was when I was probably 19, 20, so quite a long time ago. 19, 20 years old. Not in the year 1920, that would be very long time ago. Yeah, so I've had a fair bit, but my day job for the last 30 years has been IT, so I don't regularly drive off road, but I have done like driving experience days in Land Rovers and similar types of off-road vehicles. I do have a bit of an interest in off-road. If I just gone past it, I do that a lot, and I imagine that I'm going to do that a lot more if I'm trying. Oh, look at that! Look how far past it I went. I imagine I'm going to do that a lot more if I'm trying to narrate my actions as I go, because I'll be distracted by what I'm talking about, and just completely like I was then, and completely miss the thing that I'm supposed to be happy to see. So I've burnt a few litres of extra fuel there, which is the downside. You know, in hard mode, that is an actual cost. That'll probably that lack of attention hasn't just cost me a little bit of time. It's also cost me probably no more than $10 or so of fuel, but it's still. I should pay attention. So up there, so kind of around this rock and hang a right. Oh, where is that right? I've gone past it again. I didn't see that. I didn't recognise. There was nothing there as we were driving through that I recognised as being a path. So obviously we're going to go. Let's just angle so I can see better what's still happening. I guess that isn't a path. We just brute strength and ignorance. Let's heading towards that middle greyish tree. Put it into low ratio, crawler gear, so that we're not gear changing on a big hill. Need some help from the winch. I'm not convinced this is the correct route. This is a little bit of a mad route. I also don't want to roll off this hill. There we go. $1,000. Handbrake on. Engine off. That's the view that we were just paid to come and have a look at. So it would probably make sense to have a look. So garage down there. Farm in the distance. And then beyond that it's all fog. I don't think you can see the town from that angle. It's probably in that direction roughly. And then behind us you can just about see a little bit of swamp in the direction of the road that we were mistakenly on. I'll turn around now and go back down without rolling this thing. I wonder if you could go down that route. Is that a safe route? In campaign mode, I would definitely just roll down that, because if there's no cost, there's no penalty to messing up. But in this version, maybe I will. Just stick it into low, stick it into all-wheel drive. slowly ease ourselves down. Low ratio gives you a bit more engine braking, so a little bit more control than just driving at full speed. The main risk here is getting stuck on a tree and you're not having the engine power to get past it. This may even have been a safer route to drive up, to be fair, so I'm glad I did come this way and have a look. Sorry, tree. There we go. Almost. Don't speak too soon. There we go. Back into high range. What are we doing with this truck next? It makes sense to get it out of here. So we just follow this route down to the main road and probably just take it back to the garage for now. And then look to see any other missions that we've got to do. We've got a task to find a missing oil tank, but that's in a swamp area of a part of the map that we haven't uncovered yet, and I think that swamp area is a bit beyond our abilities with our current vehicles. So I think actually I'll get this down and leave it more or less there, because there's no point driving. I know I've got to drive it out of this road, but until I know whether my next beneficial thing to do is to go left or right, I may as well just leave it and save the fuel of moving it any further. Because you can, although you pay to recover, it seems as though you can fast travel between your vehicles for free still, even in hard mode, so that's good. We're not having to pay taxi fees, we haven't got to get an Uber to take us from one vehicle to another. So I'll leave this in a position where we can pick it up for anything else we need to do. I know that it's got enough fuel to get to the couple of fuel positions I've got with both between fuel tanks and the gas station. So there's not really any danger to leaving it here. It's not going to run out of fuel at all. As long as I remember to turn the engine on. Which is one of the reasons that pretty much every time I stop I turn the engine on. This is the route that I missed the first time. Came down through here. Yeah, pretty much every time I stop a vehicle I handbrake and turn the engine off, just because I think it's a good habit to get into on hard mode. Right, just leave it parked here, close to the road but not in the way. Handbrake, engine off, jump to the map, select our vehicles. So one of the missions that I think we want to do, I was looking through these. So this tab is contracts seem to relate to the regional tasks. So these are the kind of more official tasks, and then there's a bunch of side tasks that you just pick up as you drive around the map. So we will try and get that down scout out at some point. But I think some of these we haven't got the trucks to cope with. You need a truck with a crane there to do that one. I've looked through some of them, and I think probably, and then this doesn't know, it's quite subtle, but the shaded out ones with a padlock on them are locked because I can't do them yet, and I need to complete out with the old before I can get that order. But farming tools is one that I do have access to, and that's another $1,000, and that's to move a trailer from our garage area to the farm that we uncovered in the last episode. That gives us a bit of experience and $1,000. So we're going to do that one, and then we're going to jump to our fleet star. We will fuel it up from the tanker because it's free. Why not? And then we will drive it back down to our garage, grab the curtain side trailer that's needed for the mission task. I will definitely use the phrases mission, task and quest interchangeably, because they all mean the same thing. It just depends on the scenario of the game, but technically in this game they're tasks. Taking this through this off-road route because it's mostly downhill, and at some point we need to become confident that this truck can travel, crack it into all-wheel drive. This is going to be our main workhorse, I believe. We'll get the GMC back and do a comparison, so that's the other thing we'll do at some point, maybe today, is go down through, go into the town, tag a few things, tag the navigation, the watchtowers, open up a bit of map, and grab the GMC and probably drive it back and do a comparison of its features and its upgrade options, because we need either the GMC or this truck to be relatively off-road capable, because this game doesn't have an awful lot of road. Pretty much every task has an element of off-road. Tarmac or asphalt is a luxury in this game that you don't get very often. Right. So in here. Yeah, so that curtain cider is our target. Turn the all-wheel drive off so that we didn't need it once we hit this tarmac. Let's attach that trailer. Good stuff. And then now we've got to deliver this to the farm. So that's a fairly simple route. Just out past our pickup truck, turn right into this, go to the farm. We haven't put any kind of an add-on on the back of this truck at the minute. Not sure what we'll need first, and they cost money, so it's just a bare chassis at the moment. Drive because we're slipping a bit. There's our Chevy that we dropped off just now. Low ratio, engage the diff lock. Yeah, this is hardly any mud if you look at it, and this isn't a very big trailer either. And this thing was struggling just on that muddy terrain. So we've got to get better tyres before we think about doing any serious off-road stuff. And there's a bit of off-road to deliver this because the farm is muddier than the road. So we'll see how we go. We've got a winch if it came to it, but I don't know how many winching points there are. Drop it back into high ratio. Sometimes you're better off with momentum. So sometimes you use the diff lock to get past a particular problem and then turn it off again because it's not really helping. Below here, I think it would help. Look at that, we're burning 8 litres a minute of fuel just to drive it here, just to drive this relatively simple route. And we're going to avoid that muddy puddle because that will get us stuck, I think. Right, so that's given us a balance of 11,000, which means we could buy the autonomous winch upgrade for our pickup truck to make exploring a little bit safer. But it would leave us a relatively low amount of money for fuel. Yeah, so let's check that. And we're down to 140 XP needed. Engine on, handbrake on. Let's have a think about what to do next before we drive anywhere else. I wonder if we can get that down truck out. Dragged truck. It is only a Scout, so it's a light vehicle. I think it might be another Chevy. But it's in quite a muddy patch. If anything, actually, our Chevy might be better for pulling that out than this highway truck. Any other objectives here? So what have we got to deliver? So this is stuff to... We've got to deliver some bricks. Some wooden planks and some metal beams. And the trailers that we found so far. This flatbed has concrete blocks. That's the one that we left by the garage. This one is empty, which we need to pick up and take somewhere. Can't sell it in this mode. And then there's a fuel carrier. So we haven't found any trailers. Drowned highway truck. I'd like to do another task or two. Maybe we'll come over and get this watchtower. Open up that part of the map and then head up into town. I'd like to do another task or two to get a little bit more money before investing in the autonomous winch, but it's a bit of a gamble. And until we need the Fleet Star for something else, better off leaving it parked. Yeah, I think we'll jump back in the Chevy and head over the bridge towards the town. Fuel up as we go. It's also coming into dusk. What time is it there? So it's now 6:30 PM. It would be nice to unlock some more upgrades because upgrades are free to install, and when you find the upgrade it gives you one copy of that thing, and at the moment we haven't got any upgrades exposed that we didn't pick up. We picked up the one earlier in a previous episode. So I think grab these 2 watchtowers, see if there are any more upgrades we can get, because they make you more capable, make your vehicles more capable and don't cost you anything. Yeah, I think that's the play. So into town, which is just follow this road, turn off all-wheel drive at the moment. I don't think we need it on this truck because we've got mud tires. Well, we've got We've got all-terrain tyres that have a mud bias. Alright, all-terrain for that little bit. And again, I'm going to repeat some of this stuff because some people who might be watching this won't have watched the previous episodes and may not have played hard mode. In hard mode, recovery is expensive. You have to pay. Just out of interest, how much would it be? If I choose to recover, do I want to recover for $2,000? So obviously the answer there is no. But also, so there's the restrictions of hard mode are that it costs you more to run the game. You to run your vehicles, to recover your vehicles, you pay for repairs and fuel. But the other one is that it's now that's sunset, beautiful sunset, lovely colouring through these autumnal trees. But that means it's going to be dark soon, and in this game, in this hard mode scenario, you can't time travel to the morning. You have to play through the night. So the poor guy never gets any sleep. In my campaign mode, I quite like save. I quite like driving through the night. It's fine. A lot of trucks have got really good lights on them, and it's just a different environment. It's a part of the game that's enjoyable for me. But there's also a little bit of your character needs to sleep. So there's a little bit of natural role play from the types of games I've played in the past. I think this poor guy needs a rest. I should be sleeping for him. But no, hard mode, no sleep, no rest for the wicked. So you can just about see, that's a lovely view. You can see to the left of the bridge there's the watchtower, and then you can see the wind turbines up on the crest of the hill there, which you can't drive to the wind turbines, I don't think, but it is quite cool that they're there. But yeah, the watchtower we're going to head to first. It's the one on the left there. I don't really remember how to get to it from a previous save. It's one of those things you do early in the game and then move on. So let's have a quick look at the map. Handbrake, engine off. I didn't refuel, did I? There's a fuel station not too far away. So around here and try and get up to there. But should I go and refuel first? I think that was a mistake not refueling while I drove past that trader. Distracted myself and forgot to refuel here. 36 litres. We are going to head the other way. So everything I just said about that watchtower is wrong. We're going to go into town because there's a gas station near this watchtower. We'll get that first and just make sure we've got fuel. We'll have to pay for this fuel though because it's not, unless there's a trader there, but I don't think so. Drive, take the detour. I find this detour quite funny. This detour is because there's a little bit of water over the main road, and it forms part of the tutorial in campaign mode to teach you that sometimes you have to pick a different route, and that makes sense for them to teach you that. It's a valid lesson to learn. But once you've done the tutorial, or even more so if you're in hard mode, I'm just going to pull up to this barrier and have a look. Water over road, which is why there's a detour. In comparison to the things you'll be driving through later in the game, that puddle, that water in road is absolutely trivial. But the barriers are still there, So and you can drive through them, you can knock them out of the way, which I do every single time in a more advanced vehicle. But it just seems strange to have that detour remains there even though you finished the tutorial, and even though you're, or even more so if you're in hard mode. But why bother leaving those barriers there? Because that is not an obstacle. You'll get to the point that that's the least of your worries. Right, 94. Oh, so this was cheaper. If I remember, the fuel in the gas station that's nearest to the garage was $3 per litre. So that's interesting. Worth bearing in mind, especially if you get to the point that you're refilling tankers, that it's cheaper to bring it to town to refill it. If you were buying 2,000 litres to refill an empty tanker, that would be a significant saving. So we'll fuel up here, and then we'll go and grab the watchtower. So this is more or less now following the same thing that you do as the tutorial on campaign mode. Which is that watchtower. You can see the red lights ahead of us just above the trees. Let's turn that tracked task off because we're not actually... That's a time trial, we're not doing that one just yet. It's an oil tank, stop tracking. This is where we need that snorkel. There we go, 50 XP, engine off. Watch observation. Climb up the tower. We'll play my little character. He's jumped out and got stretching his legs, going up all those stairs. Have a look around. What have we just found? Right, so we found our GMC truck. We can't fast travel to it because we haven't physically visited it, but we found it. There's another contest. The stopwatch is a time trial contest. There's another trailer here. That's got wooden planks on it, which I think we needed for another mission. Maybe not. Maybe it's a mission we haven't got yet. Well, that's got bricks. If I remember rightly, bricks, service parts, ×3, and vehicle service parts. And then this is the town where we can grab that mission, can buy metal beams here, or acquire metal beams here. We'll have to pay to load them though in hard mode. And there's another trailer there that's got bricks and service parts on it. So, and then we've just uncovered an upgrade in the hill here, which connects to the same path as the watchtower. So when we do go and get this watchtower, we'll grab that upgrade at the same time. So next step, let's grab the GMC because I want to compare it with the Fleet Star and see which one would be better for runaround deliveries missions. So our route from here is down here and up to the GMC. Map wise, we're going to stay in Michigan for a fair while. I'm not necessarily going to try to have region progression. I'm not going to require me to finish a certain thing before I go to another region. But bearing in mind that you have to pay to deploy your trucks, we're not going to be going to another region until we've got sufficient funds to store and deploy a truck in that area. And we're definitely not going to do that until we feel that we've got a truck that's capable of driving into Alaska is more snow and ice than this. And at the moment we haven't got a vehicle that I would be comfortable taking to snow and ice. So we'll stay here. Russian Federation I haven't played a lot of, but it appears to be a lot more mud than this region. So it just makes sense to stay here for now. So there's the GMC, and that got us level 3 for finding the GMC. And not just, so that level also, I noticed the pop-up message there. I think we can get spare parts upgrades on our truck, on our Chevy. Turn the engine off. So that's our GMC, and it's already got a 2-slot, but no crane. Got a 2-slot sideboard bed, that'd be called. Hop over to the GMC. It looks like it doesn't currently have all-wheel drive or a diff lock because they're not selectable. But so I want to get this back to the garage to have a look at it. It's got a full tank of fuel, that's nice. I want to get it back to the garage. I don't know if I want to do that now. These guys sleeping in their trailers. No sleep for me. Yeah, let's get this back. We'll come back to the pickup truck and stay here. We'll get this truck back to our garage. Or will we? Sorry, I've just changed my mind because I may need to pick something up in this part of the map that's needed for a delivery somewhere. So I'm going to carry on with the Chevy for now. Just open up a little bit more challenge tasks. Headlights would help. So we now own 3 vehicles. The Chevy pickup, the Fleet Star that was at the start of garage, and then that GMC that we've just grabbed. Which gives us a little bit of comfort in terms of if we happen to roll the Fleet Star, you might do it in a way that the Chevy isn't substantial enough to pull it back onto its feet, whereas the GMC would be. But it might also be that we only need 1 delivery truck because we can only drive 1 vehicle at a time. What's that trailer? I guess that's just a prop. Looks like a boat trailer. Yeah, nothing in there except for the sleeping individuals. There's a trailer ahead of us on the right, the blue. You can just about see that's got the think bricks and service parts on it that we saw on the map from the watchtower. Yeah. Let's drive through town this way. See what else there is to put to view. So this is our pickup location with metal beams and such like, but we're actually here to tag this task. Oh, so that pays quite a lot. How much is that then? Well, $3,200. That's a nicer chunk of money that we want. Let's track it and see what it needs. Drilling spare parts to the factory. I have no idea where to get those. Missing machinery. What did it say? Shipment was interrupted. Okay, so this will be cargo that's been dropped in random locations in this part of the area, and we need a crane to pick them up, chuck them on the back of a truck or trailer, and take them down to the factory in that part of the map that we haven't exposed yet. Okay, fair enough. Another task here for Motel Woes, but there's a watchtower pretty close, so let's see if we can get to that watchtower north of us before we come back and try and get the upgrade and the watchtower to the south. Turn off all-wheel drive when we're on tarmac. Bit of XP for discovering that trailer, which has bricks and service parts on it by the look of it. Handy if we need something that needs bricks and service parts. And then the right route out of town. Yeah, okay. So, sorry Mr. Traffic Cones. This may be an impassable route, but let's have a look. Oh, another task to grab. Show the task. $1,600. Rock slide problem. We keep knocking out infrastructure. Grateful if we could take a look. So start tracking that. That needs metal beams and service parts. Okay. Service parts are obviously on the trailer. Where's the delivery for that? So it's just up this road. So I imagine we may be able to get to that watchtower if it's not too far into the swamp. But we'll need a truck to bring the parts for that. Let's see. I'm still running this as a real-time, not really a lot of editing. Haven't published the first 2 episodes yet because I haven't worked out how to edit them. Not gonna lie, bit of procrastination again. I mentioned procrastination in episode 1. I've got to the point of recording the footage, but I don't know what to do with it, so I'm carrying on playing because that's easier than working out how to edit and upload. But hopefully I'll get the first 2 episodes up before I play too much further into this. I think it's useful to get a little bit ahead of the game. I certainly play more than the number of hours I would want to upload each day. Stuck trailer. First wave. Leaf workers rolled up a bunch of idiots. Managed to lose a whole trailer. Go and find it and bring it back, will you? So let's accept that. That's dragging a curtain side trailer that's stuck in what is the other side of the rock slide anyway, but probably a swampy area, and dragging it back to here. Right, let's get to that watchtower. No more distractions. Everywhere you go in this game is just something new to do. Until you get to the point that you've done a lot of the early content. Driving through this map at the moment, because I haven't done anything in this part of the map, of course everything's going to be flagging. All-wheel drive. We're going to this watchtower. Everything's going to be flagging as tasks for me to do because I haven't ticked any of them off yet. No trees if you do get stuck here. That's a bit... nothing to winch to, but it's not too bad. Okay, this watchtower was easy. Handbrake, engine off. Cutscene. Cool. A new upgrade location discovered. Okay, that'll be that one. So we got a couple of things up in these hills to do on the west side of the map. The task giver there, and there's a scout. Ah, so that shows us a thing we own. So when we get to it, we've got a Scout 800. Yeah, I remember picking this up in my previous save, and then basically selling it straight away because it didn't look very good. But I didn't look at it close enough to actually make a fair assessment, I don't think. I want to grab the task for rock slide because it's always useful to open up the map, the roads. But watchtower wise, I know we've still got the one in the south that we didn't get. The one we were going to go to first and we still haven't got to. Fairly typical of me. But we're pretty close to going over and looking at this and maybe going and getting that scout, because even if we decide we don't want it, it'll have some value, and although you sell it in hard mode at 50% of its purchase price, if we're not going to use it, that could be a good bit of money to give us a buffer. So that might be the play. But I want to get that rock slide done first, really. So we'll head to the rock slide, tag the task so we know what it is we've got to do. I haven't got there, but low ratio might help. And then there's two upgrades on that west side of the map that one of those might be a diff lock for this vehicle, which would make quite a difference. So I do think that probably the next episode will be to complete that west side of the map in terms of upgrades. But I want to end this episode in a minute, and I'm going to do that by going and grabbing. I'm going to do that by going and grabbing the rock slide task so that I know what it is that needs to be delivered to it, because it might be relatively easy to just do that with the GMC. Let's get this task over here. Drainage. That pays quite well. 3,000. That means visiting 3 pumps that are one. So one in the middle of this swamp. Not doing that yet. Well, that stuck trailer might not be too hard to get out. One in the middle of that. Let's see this. One down here by the farm. That's a bit more boggy to get to. And one over here in this, I'm going to say lake, but really it's probably just a big swamp. And there is a stuck vehicle there. You can just about see it on the map. It's still greyed out. We haven't explored that area yet. But there is a stuck vehicle there that I remember from before. So we'll get the pump and that vehicle at the same time when we've got a vehicle capable of that part of the map. It is. I understand why they've done it, but it is. I do find it quite funny in this game that there's obviously people, because you're delivering food to farmers, logs to sawmills, etc. You're doing lots of stuff, and you can see from the trailers there that there's lights on, so habitation. But you never see another. There's no NPCs, basically, is what I'm saying. So there's the rock slide over the road, which I think we can all agree would be pretty impassable. Leave the lights on. Pretty impassable. But let's see what. Oh, we've already got this mission. Yeah, this is the metal beams and steel parts. We can do that quite easily. And this pays 1,600. Yeah, I think we can do that with the GMC, because the road to get here wasn't too bad. Hopefully with the GMC. But we don't need to bring the field star. Fleet Star over for it. Okay, I think we're going to leave this episode here. Thank you for watching, if you've been watching. Especially thank you if you came back because you saw one of the other episodes. We'll leave this episode here and see you on the next one. Thank you.